to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Testing 1 2. This thing, man. This is starting to really hurt me. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Okay. Testing 1 2. Oh, we should hear me now. Okay. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. All right, man. And I'm glad I went through all that spiel and people couldn't hear me, man. But I hope some of the people stayed in here with me, man, that came in with me. But we're going to talk about a subject today that's going to really, it's going to be really important to our winning. And it's probably going to be it's probably going to be documented um, in this thing, this Netflix thing, man, that's coming up. All the great teams have it. All the great teams had to start with it and to build upon it. And it's a maturation project to get there. And we're going to talk about tone setters. We're going to talk about tone setters today. We're going to talk about what we need in a tone setter. What is a tone setter? What is needed in a tone setter? Why it's important for a tone setter to be in this type of environment? And what's some of the things that's causing us not to have these tone setters? And and the questions about, do we have the makeup of players to be tone setters? So we got Schottenheimer has a very tough job here. And I've told about a coach having to be a leader of men. But he has a tough job to be a leader of men, but he has to make sure that he gets people to buy in, and he has to get what we call tone setters to buy in. What's a tone setter on a football team or any sports or any group of organization that you have? There's a tone setters. Those guys, those people are guys, ladies, those people in that, they don't have to be the best player. They ain't got to be the most athletic. But they must carry the traits of the culture that you're trying to put out there. They must have all of that in spades. So if you're trying to carry a culture of being physical, tone setters must have that. If we're trying to carry a culture of being aggressive and being disciplined on the field, tone setters must do that. Again, I said on the field. That don't mean the tone setter has to be disciplined in way, but he just can't let his personal affect him on the field. And he must buy into what, and he got to have the mentality of work. A tone setter on a football team he's going to set the tempo of practice. Even when you get tired, even then when you practice for 2 weeks and you're getting tired, he's still going to come out there every day and set the tempo. It's not just one. Usually you got to have tone setters all through your feet, all to your team. When I was coaching, we had a group that our coaches, we got a group together. And I started this last year because we wanted to reward guys that did the things we wanted them to do. And we found out that these guys can do a lot of the motivating on the field that we didn't have to do. And then maybe go back to thinking when I played. I think I was pretty good when I played, but I wasn't a tone setter. But there was other guys on our team in high school and in college. They were tone setters. Were they the best players? No. Some was. Sometimes when you got the best players that are tone setters, that carries you a little bit more credibility. It may give you a little bit more credibility. But one thing about the tone setters are they are respected by everybody on the field, on the team. Now, are they liked by everybody on the team? Now that goes back to what I was saying earlier. If y'all go back into my playlist, and y'all go back to me when I was my first shows, and I was talking about coaching, and I was talking about Schottenheimer, and I was talking about listen. It's more important for Schottenheimer to be respected than loved or liked. Respected and trusted is more important for a coach to be respected and trusted than loved and liked. You will get more out of a player if he trusts you and respects you than you're going to get out of a player if he likes you or loves you. Because if he likes you or loves you too much, I hate when I hear players when they're playing in their playing days have so much admiration and so much love and so much like and start just, it's just my guy and all that stuff. I got a problem with that somewhat. I don't say you don't want to like the guy. I got a problem with that because one thing I found about this, and think about this in life, a lot of people diss or let down people that they like and love. A lot of people don't even cross a barrier for a person that they respect really toughly. Because they're like, hey, man, I don't even want to have that issue. But when you like and love, sometimes you could take the respect part for granted. And it can get you in trouble. So every coach should, listen, I always wanted my players to love me after they see that I got the best out of them. That's why I have a lot of them come up to me now that thought I was an asshole. But they love me now because they understood what I was trying to get out of them. So there's a thin line between that, that like and love and respect and trust. You got to have that trust. Trust don't mean you like a love person either. But trust means sometimes people are truthful to you about your play or how bad you are, how good you are, or how good you are, and not as good as you think you are. And sometimes you get upset, but you can understand that, hey, coach is a straight shooter. I might not like what he says, but he's not making up nothing. So you got to have that trust and respect. And if you're a tone setter on this team, the tone setter players, one thing about them, the team trusts them and the team respects them. Now, does trust mean that they're always going to make the play? No. But they trust that this person going to be where they're supposed to be and they're going to give 100%. They don't make the play or something, they're going to trust, and they're going to trust the person. If they don't make the mistake, they're going to hold themselves accountable. Those type people are respected. And your tone setters on your team have that. They have the trust and the respect of all, especially in their play group. Because remember, you're going to have them all over the field. And so this is why in my last couple of years of coaching, we made what we call, and we called this group the accountability police. The group was called the accountability police. And me and the coaching staff got together in spring football practice. And we selected players out of each group. And, you know, we had a lot of guys going two ways because, you know, we was a small school. So one lineman might have been the defensive line and offensive line. But if we had two sets of guys, like defensive backs and receivers, defensive backs and receivers, we picked a defensive back and we picked up a receiver. And we call them accountability police. And we, as coaches, coach them to be leaders. See, there's sometimes you get a player that's you want to be in that tone setter category. But he just ain't all the way there yet. I had a young player that he was probably going to be one of the best players on our team. But he was young. He was wild. He would be practice late. He would sometimes, you know, do stuff that on the field is not disciplined. Selfish. Not all the time. But I stayed on his case. Not just on the field, off the field. I remember telling one of the coaches, this when I was a defensive line coach, I remember telling the head coach at that particular time, that this guy is going to be a leader of this team. Now, this is when I didn't have accountability, but my coach Goodwin, he believed in having guys that was leadership role on team. And I told him, he was like, coach, like he said, man, he might be coach used to tell us, say he might be a great player, coach, but I don't know if he'll be a leader. And that's why I had to coach and had to get him to buy in to being a leader. And by the time he got in his third year, and I had moved up myself in the coaching thing, he was a leader. All the flaws about missing practice or being late, those things were gone now. Was he a totally disciplined person off the field? Was he an angel? No. But when it came to football, he is respected and he was trusted to do the right thing. And he had a lot of swag to him when he was a tough guy. Let's put it that way. And when he said something to the team, it carried weight. If a teammate was not doing something they ain't supposed to be doing in a drill or messed up on an assignment, yes, he knew that we were going to come down on the player. But before we even come down, listen, the wrath that he got from our tone setter, sometimes we didn't have to say anything. Or sometimes we was reinforcing what he said. And he was a defensive lineman, this guy. And he would not allow our defensive line to get the ball run on him. No. He made other guys better because not only they feared him, they emulated what he did. Now, did they like him or love him? I wouldn't say that, because he was an asshole when it came to certain things. But did they respect and trust him? 100%. Did he make our job easier to get what we need to get across? 100%. And was he the only tone setter? No, we had some other guys. I don't know DMV, y'all may have DMV. Some of y'all may have be following DMV. He's one of the content creators for DC, man. He's great. But DMV had a breakdown of he did a little short video about his breakdown of the preseason game. And he pointed out one of the greatest points, which I saw, that you could point out. And I know DMV got some coaching experience, but it was a great point. He watched the offensive line play of the Rams, and the offensive line play, and it seemed like the Rams were moving quicker and more precise and with a quicker pace than the Cowboys. And that's very important, because their pace was faster and more crisp. That's going to help you win a game. But what did I say about a tone setter? A tone setter sets the tempo. And maybe our tone setters weren't playing. Maybe some of those guys was held out. And that would be understandable, because we can't expect tone setters from guys that most of these guys were playing with third, fourth string guys. But when they watch film, the tone setters on this team, the coaches should keep harping about the tempo of this game. And guess who soaks it in first? Your sergeants. Because not only would I go and talk to my team, but I would have a meeting with my accountability police group. Remember, I told you I set up a tone setter and called them accountability police. And every time we had a meeting every Monday. I had a meeting every Monday as the head coach with my accountability police. Now, what did these guys tell me? They told me if there is some anything going on with the team. People could call them snitches or whatever, but they gave me the temperature of the team. And if anything you had wrong, you as a team, you wanted to go, you give it to these guys, and they're gonna bring it to me to discuss it. And also as a coach, I'm giving them the nuggets, not about, man, he's playing this 3 technique, he's not playing. I'm giving them the nuggets about what we just saw in the film, because we watched the film and we played the Friday night. Saturday, we watched the film. Monday or Sunday, we may have a meeting with them. But before we go to practice the next week, I'm talking to my accountability police, and I'm telling them about certain intangibles that I didn't see in my football team. And not that I'm just talking to them about that. I'm explaining to them how that is going to affect our play. I'm coaching the leaders. And then the leaders that buy into that, they're going to carry my message to the troops. I'm going to run it, but they're going to reinforce my message. And they're going to hold themselves accountable for their groups not performing at the level I want them to perform at. Now, how can a tone setter help us on run game? Let's just take it. Let's put this tone setter into these tone setters into action. How that would help this Cowboy team or this team when we talk about run defense. Oh, a lot of people say, well, coach, no, what's going to help our run defense is we're going to have to go get some more guys. We get rid of Marzi, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy, and go out there and get us a one tech and go get us another one tech, and that's going to help our run defense. But guess what you're going to get? Now, let me tell you something else. If you got a team that's been together for all training camp, and I got to bring somebody off the street that hadn't been here, and he's going to now come in and take an alpha position on this team in a certain area, then I got the wrong guys on this team, and I'm already suited for failure. Now, he's there at the beginning, fine. If I got him there at the beginning, and he started training camp and he made himself that fine, that's fine. But if I got to go get him after we done put in the grind, and I got to get somebody else to lead, because I had no leader, then I'm questioning the big dogs I got on this team. How could tone setters help this run defense? Who on the run defense where are our stars on our defense? Where are their statements about it's not going to happen no more? See, every team I've been on, every team I've coached, they might not have been dominant teams, but the dominant players, the tone setters, didn't allow us, one, to lose a physical battle without being fighting or having that dog mentality. And the running game is a physical thing. If we think that Marzi is not putting in the effort, or Marzi sometimes might be lazy, or Tor, the two of the guys we said, they look like they're lazy. They look like they're guys that's not in shape. On this defensive line, who do I blame? If if they got some lackluster play or not pushing, who do I blame? Yeah, some say, well, you could blame the coach. There has not been a guy that's been a bigger component of this guy than anybody. But I blame Osa. Osa would have been in my office. You done got paid. We have made you a cornerstone of the defense. If it lacks on the defensive line, it falls on you. The accountability to stop the run falls on two guys right now. Michael Parsons and Osa. Yes, Michael gonna get his pay. Now, I'm not blaming Michael for not being there, because I get to that. That's the part of that's hurting our tone setters. But if he's there and the run defense suffers because of line play, that's Osa and Michael Parsons. Because we have heard so many times about players. They're always talking about Super Bowl players elevating their guys. I go back to what I saw with Chris Jones. Y'all go back to my ex post when I was talking about Chris Jones. Because somebody put out there about Chris Jones getting on Kalopoulos in the practice and really getting on him and getting him in check about a drill that they were doing in practice and really putting him in check. Know why? Because Chris Jones is a tone setter. That is his defense. When he goes out to play and other guys don't perform in the run game, it makes his defense look bad. And he don't allow it. And he don't care if you don't like him. But you're going to damn sure respect him. And you're going to trust that he giving his 110% and he giving it everything in every drill. And he's going to set the pace. And he's going to set the dog mentality. And he's going to set the mindset that we are not going to be beat up front. But no, we do. When we talk about one tech and we start ripping Amazi and we start ripping all that and keep talking about we need to get somebody, we need to do something, it's just like your children. When they should have the mindset to do it, we keep trying to give them other stuff and we building excuses. I told you, man, and I'm not ripping Micah or Osa. I'm challenging guys that I know can do it. But I get really pissed off. You know, one thing I was just talking about a guy and I was telling about what's my problem with LeBron James. You know, a lot of people like LeBron James. I'm not the biggest LeBron James fan. You know why? Because he always asking for help. He had been playing with some guys that was young guys that he could have molded into superstars. But he asked for help. Michael Jordan took a guy like Scottie Pippen people didn't even know where Scottie Pippen came from when he got drafted out of Arkansas State or wherever. And when he first got to the NBA, he punked down in the playoffs. But you think Michael gave up on him? He made him a star. And he took everybody, whatever they did well, and he made them. They say he practiced like a fool. He fought with people. Did they like Mike? A lot of them in the last dance. Do they like and love Mike? No. But I guarantee you they respect and trust Mike. They respect and they trust that Mike gonna come up there every night and give them dog. And you got to either come with it or you got to go. We're going to find out in this documentary that comes on Netflix. And listen, I ain't seen it. Some of y'all might see it, but they ain't came out yet. They did the premiere. But we're going to find out in this documentary that the same stuff that I'm talking about, that the accountability that they bestowed on each other and how they challenge each other, flowed through Jimmy Johnson to his soldiers. And they got it right. And if his soldiers couldn't get the message across to the players, when King Jimmy came along, that's it. You gone. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it. You just wrote your check down in Dallas. So the soldiers wasn't selling the whoop tickets because they already say, we trying to get you straight because if the man tells you, it's already done. Tone setters. Yes, I had an accountability police group. And it worked well. It worked well not to listen. You know what I'm most proud of that? I did it for like the last 2 years I was coaching. You know why I was so proud of it? It wasn't the point that it won games, which it did make us more competitive and win some games in certain games, right? But it built character and it built men. And it built men to turn in to be leaders of men. And if you got a good group of guys on your team that are leaders of men, man, that's over half of the battle in winning games. I keep trying to tell y'all, in the NFL, the talent between two teams is very minute. But it comes down to who's more disciplined, who is more focused, who got more dog to impose their will on another player, who's in a better situation to utilize their talent, that's mean your scheme, and who got the will to overcome a guy just as good as you. Tone setters. You have a tone setter on your special teams, tone setter on your defensive back, your linebacker core. You can have a couple of them, but it's tone setters. I watched the players come out there. I had a problem with this in our training camp. Somebody might, if y'all listening, think about this. Schottenheimer got some younger coaches, and they come out, at the beginning of practice, they doing all this jumping around and doing all this, and they getting the players involved and jumping. But the coaches are the ones hopping around getting everybody started, it seems to me. That's all right for the first day or two. I need to find the players now. When the coach come out there, the player already got it going. And they respect it to the point where if you don't get in with it, they can get on your case. You ain't got to like them, but you got to respect and trust. And when you start having that respect and trust, now you start to build a unity of team. And you're going to hear about that in this documentary. Do y'all know what this here? I keep hearing everybody want to talk about the story of Charles Haley. And I said this on the last show, but let me give you my pitch on Charles Haley. And I guarantee you it's right down the pipe. When Charles Haley came to the Dallas Cowboys, his best days of football he had his best days when you talk about the athletic and the stats in San Francisco. When he got to Dallas, he was still a top player, but he had started developing a back injury. And the story was, Jimmy said, was he smart? And when his inside intel told him that Charles was a smart player. Now, go back to what Jimmy Johnson went on the boat with Bill Parcells, not Bill Parcells, but Bill Belichick, because Jimmy respected Bill Belichick because he got a lot of stuff, and Bill Belichick got a lot of what Jimmy did to keep his team together from Jimmy Johnson, and he implemented it into his New England run. See, coaches, listen, man, coaches don't see a team be successful with a philosophy of how to work and run away with it and say, I'm trying to reinvent the wheel. But this is what he said. Jimmy said, and Jimmy and Bill Belichick said, the first thing you want that you got to have in the player is he got to be smart. You can't coach dumb players. Now you ain't getting over dumb players, and you can't coach stupid players. Now y'all don't get upset when they say coach you calling players stupid. You can't fix stupid. Stupid can't be reasoned with. But if they're smart, they can be reasoned with. Even though they might be an asshole like Charles Haley. But Charles Haley was going to give us a main pass rusher, which we had guys that could rush the passer. But what Jimmy liked about him was he was smart and he was from a championship culture. Charles' biggest attribute to the Cowboys was not his play. He only got, I think 2 or 3 seasons with 10 sacks. And he was out a lot of games because he had a bad herniated disc in his back. But his main contribution was his unselfishness, because he knew he had to be unselfish to win a championship. He knew he had to sacrifice himself sometimes for other people to make plays. And he was a tyrant and a tone setter to the whole defensive line, the whole defense, and the offensive line. Because he came in talking trash to everybody because his intelligence, he studied the Cowboys. He studied everything about the Cowboys. Even though he was talking about he was doing all kind of crazy stuff, but he studied. He was able to tell Nate Newton to say, hey, man, in the second part of the year, you ain't as good as you were in the first part of the year because you gained weight during the season. You think coaches told Nate Newton the same thing? Yes. But when it comes from a Charles Haley, always, and Charles didn't tell him that nicely. But he didn't tell him that and just berate him. He said, hey, man, get with me and Tony Tolbert every Thursday so we're going to go work out, even on the off week. So every morning they got to work out. Nate turned in to be an even better Pro Bowler, and his game got better at the end of the season, and we went on to win 3 Super Bowls. There was a clip in there that they said Troy Aikman got on, they were talking about Troy Aikman just hard on the black players. He went on the white players. Who came to Troy Aikman defense? Charles Haley. Charles Haley said he need to get on y'all case because y'all messing up my money. That's his job to keep you in line. Tone setters. It wasn't about he got sacks. It's a guy that gave the accountability to the players on the field. Now, was Charles Haley a crazy man? Yes. But let me give you another nugget. When he first got to Dallas, who started yelling at him at practice and he said that they almost came to blows? Jimmy Johnson. And he said they had to get to the point where they had to have a meeting. He had to tell him to get off his butt. But guess what? Jimmy did that to show Charles that Jimmy was the damn alpha. And now I want you to be my soldier. And Charles fell in line. And when Jimmy got put in the ring of honor, who was on the field? Loving on Jimmy. Charles ain't love no other coaches. And he might not like Jimmy at the beginning. But he respected and he trusted what Jimmy was trying to get them for. Tone setters, people. They're important. There's going to be the people that's going to set the mentality for Schottenheimer. And they can't be liked or loved. Listen, there's only one player on this team, and I'm not saying he's a tone setter. He probably is. But when it's a bad game, there's only one person that takes full accountability and all on his shoulders. It's Dak. But Dak got to say, I got to trust my players. And Dak got to be more of an asshole with his teammates and not so liked and loved. Because tone setters don't have to be liked or loved. They have to be respected and trusted. Just like what your coach got to be, respected and trusted. You're going to get more out of the people when they respect and trust you. If they respect and they trust you, that don't mean they got to like you. But that would turn, if they got enough admiration, respect, and trust you, like and love ain't too far down the road. And it's going to come, and it's going to be in solid, it's going to be etched in stone. But too many people want people to like and love them at the beginning and really don't respect them, really don't trust them, don't even know them to trust it. As soon as they run a patch and they disrespect the person or they find they can't trust the person, the like and love is gone. But if you got those two things first, you can't break it. It's almost unbreakable. Because you can always come, I don't care what goes bad, you can always come back to the respect and the love part and the trust part. Foundational, man. Tone setters set that. Tone setters set what culture that they're trying to put in. Tone setters is going to set and go get the team to trust the culture and to respect the culture. Let me break this down again. Man, y'all getting stuff that's high-level stuff y'all ain't even realize it yet. Like and share this. Tone setters must be trusted and respected by the whole team. They're going to get that, but based off the type of, because they do the things the right way. There's going to be the players that the coaches are going to drill in silent meetings with them to get their point across. And when they get their point across to their teammates going to learn to trust the new culture and to respect the new culture. And I told you, when you got trust and respect, you can build anything. That's what teams run through the wall for. Don't believe people run through the wall because of that like and love. Because the first time they don't like something you do, the love goes out the door. And if they love you too much, they can feel that they can let you down and you'll be all right. I done seen people slap their best friends, slap some of the guys they call friends upside the face. But I've seen them not even touch their enemies because the respect factor is too high. I'm gonna say that again. I done seen guys slap their so-called friends upside the face. And I've seen them not even touch their enemies because they respect what the enemy's gonna do if they touch them upside their face. Now, can Michael Parsons be a tone setter? Yeah. Now, who's stopping that? Do we have the tone setters? But let me tell you what now, and I'm not trying to make a bunch of excuses. I'm calling it like it is. Jerry and Steven, when I heard what you said yesterday talking about you trying to keep a story going, this is what stops you having tone setters on the team. Jerry, you're the one stopping your coaches from getting tone setters on this team. Why, people? Why Jerry stopping it? It goes back to what I just said. Tone setters must have respect and trust. If the players don't respect and trust the organization, how can they portray a tone setter mentality to the rest of the team? How can I go and say, I believe in you, Shotty? If I do the things I need to do, I'm going to be treated fairly. When I see my best players have to go through hell to get treated fairly. And if that comes about, now you just got a team that's out there just self-preservation. Because after a while, you started saying, if I do the right things, it's still going to be BS. Let me tell you something, man. You got groups of players. First of all, let me tell you what Jared them said last summer was that they didn't get free agents because they were going to concentrate on locking up their core players, which I had no problem with that. Let me tell you something, people. Every team got core players. You cannot pay everybody. You cannot pay everybody. You can't go get every free agent. But you have to have a core group of players. The Cowboys core group is Michael Parsons, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. Osa is now a core group player. Tyler Smith. Now, you may, and at one time, well, he still is, Trayvon Diggs. That's your core group. Everything, then you got a second level, what we call second level group. That's not your core group, but you can negotiate with them, but you're going to pay them, but they're not going to get max dollars. They're not going to get the top rate, but they're your second group. That's when you got the Terrence Steeles, the probably the other cornerback. Your Terrence Steele, and that's your second group. And now Jake Ferguson is part of your second group of coaches. No crazy contract, but a good contract, but that's your second group. Then everybody else is, we're going to sign a good deal, or our coaching staff going to make sure that we drafted and they're exchangeable. Don't believe me? Look at the team that's been in the Super Bowl how many years? The Kansas City Chiefs. They got a core group of players, and they change out everybody else. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce. They got a couple of offensive linemen that are called core group. Everybody else changes out like they change their underwear. 2 or 3 years, they make sure they got a developed guy to get the next guy in. They may bring in a veteran free agent to fill in some holes, but they don't invest a lot in the rest of the guys. They already know, they trust their coaching staff to be able to replace those guys. There's a core group, there's a second group, and then everybody else is exchangeable. That's just how football is. Everybody who out there think that you just get free agent after free agent, you got your core group, a second tier, everybody else is changeable. And most times you're going to keep the guys on your offensive line to get into that second group. But everybody's not going to get top dollar. But you're going to come to the table with a good offer. But everybody ain't going to get market rate. So how do you handle your core group? You don't BS around with your core group. Those are guys that, listen, if you want to push them athletically, boy, listen, man, y'all got to go and share this, man. And y'all got to talk about, y'all getting some information you're not going to get at ESPN. You're not going to get it nowhere. And it's the truth. And when you start to hear it from other people's mouths, or you start to see in this documentary or stuff, remember, Coach Marv already told you. What you do with your core group, you don't make them battle. If you want to push them athletically, that's what your coach is for. Your coach is supposed to keep them motivated. What did I tell you with talent? The coach is supposed to do with talent? Let's go back to my other videos. There are only 4 things a coach is supposed to do with great talent. Motivate it. Refine the skills. Makes it better. Refine the skills of a talented player. Hold the talent accountable to perform all the ways and to take accountability when stuff is not going right in his unit. And then put that talent in the right spot for to do work. That's all he's supposed to do. That's if you want to get your core players, best out your core players, get a guy that does that. Tom Brady, listen, Bill Belichick was hard on Tom Brady from day one to the day he left. But he kept him. He was a core player. The core players, Jimmy said that when he was standing up there, Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, Darren Woodson, all the big-time guys would stand up there, and Jimmy said, y'all thought I was a tyrant. He was an asshole with the best players because he was motivating, refining their talent, holding them accountable, and he putting them in the right spots to be dogs and be champions. You let your coaches get the best out of them. But in the front office, you get in the office and y'all negotiate a fair deal and you get them, you make sure that they understand that they want it and we're going to get a deal done. You might not have to pay them the biggest market rate in the world, but you're going to pay them competitive what they need to be paid, but you're going to get a deal done because you're going to show them that they're the core. You're not going to make them wait till the end of the season, the off season, but you're not going to treat your core like that. Because your core probably is your tone setters. And if your tone setters can't trust, they can't respect and trust you, how are they going to take it to the team? Trust and respect. Get your core player signed. And listen, nobody else work around. Travis Kelce ain't had to worry about the Kansas City. Listen here. When they went to Tyreek Hill, they wanted him to be a core player. But there was a certain value that they was going to give him to be in that slot. They didn't play around with it. They didn't go and shoot it down. They say, this is it. And when he did say he wanted to go somewhere else, they didn't hesitate because they did trusted their system and they didn't hesitate to say, we can move you someplace else. And just because you lose a player does not mean in the greatest team sport in football that because you lost a player, that's the whole getting the caboodle. And was no hard feelings. And he'll come back right now. But your core people, you can't play this game. Because they're using your tone setters. And if your tone setters cannot trust and they can respect that you are invested into them, and if the rest of the players watch how you do the tone setters, how can they trust doing anything right when it gets tough? It ain't talent, people. We pimping backwards. Tone setters. Tone setters take. And they take the trust. The same group I had a group, man, when I was coaching, was the accountability police. These guys, I can come to them at the beginning of Monday and say, hey, man, we don't look like we're in shape. Look at, man, the film show we in shape. When we start doing sprints on Monday afternoon, my tone setter's already on it. I ain't got to tell guys to run. They own it. And guess what? They so far on it, they'll take it to the locker room. But guess what they knew though? I was the alpha. And I can rein the tone setters in and the other guys. Do y'all remember, hey, anybody out there in the chat, tell me, did y'all, one of my favorite movies, remember the Titans? If you in the chat, give me a thumbs up or say, yes, I remember the Titans. Remember the Titan movie. If you in the chat, tell me you remember the Titans movie. The one with Denzel Washington. Now, in the Titans movie, Denzel, Coach Boone started out getting their check Tell them how they going to change this, how it's going to be this, how I'm going to do this. We going to the training camp. We going to do this. He couldn't get his culture over until his two tone setters, who were the black guy and the white guy, who's the best players on the team, had to come together and had a big argument about guys not doing what they're supposed to do. And the black guy had to tell the white guy, you want us to think about team? Why are your boys not blocking for the quarterback and you allowing it? Did he go to the coach and tell the coach that? He told him that. And then the next practice, the kid confronts his own teammate and tell his own teammate he's going to knock his head off if he don't block. And they started arguing. And the coach get ready to go, and the coach Boone says, no. Let them handle it. Now, what Coach Boone was trying to speak, his tone setters were speaking it already. And from that point, they went on to win 13 games in a row. And it wasn't nothing about going to get another player. It wasn't nothing about going to get another guy. They got the potential out of what they got. So when I look at this defense this year, and they got a run problem, only person I want to see at the podium is Michael Parsons and Osa. And maybe one of the linebackers. Because they're the reason why. Because that's on their defense. Because you can hang out with everybody and be cool with everybody, you can expect everybody to give you their best. Because I bet you on Lawrence Taylor's team, if guys couldn't start to run and he knew that they had the capability, they didn't start to run, I bet you they'll have to fight this by every day in practice. I bet you they wouldn't like them. Yeah, I bet you wouldn't have liked them. It's about tone setters, man. Tone setters do not have to be liked to love, man. If you're in this game of football and you're looking for people to like and love you in the toughest team sport, the violent team sport, and you're looking for people to like and love you, all admiration, all cuddly, and to like and love you everywhere, even your opponents to like and love you. Michael Parsons found that the hard way too. You looking for everybody to like and love you in this crazy, this physical, outrageous game, you're going to find yourself losing a lot more balance than winning. What you need to be looking for in this game is to be respected and trusted that you're going to give your wide open. You're going to be wide open. Trust and believe. That's why I used to tell people, trust and believe. Regardless of what our outcome is, we'll get me and you. But trust and believe that you're going to get 100% of me every damn play. Trust and believe that. And at the end of the day, you're going to respect who I am. If you win the battle, you still going to have respect for me. Trust and respect is what you want. And that's what your tone setter is going to take to the team. You need those guys. And then those guys are going to get everybody else to trust the culture that you're trying to build and to respect what type of culture you're trying to build. And then you're going to grow from there. But Schottenheimer got a hard job. He's trying to get tone setters on this team, and the organization is showing no respect and no trust for your core players. Which makes nobody want to be a tone setter because nobody really trusts or respect the organization. And that's sad, man. But people, that's the way it is. And y'all can go with all this, but it just falls down to straight up. This is football, and life is just like this is life 101. If your core values, if your core people can't trust and respect the situation, how can they be tone setters to the rest of the group and get them to trust and respect the situation? And guess when it shows up, people? That trust and respect. Guess when it shows up? It don't show up against the Giants when the Giants are 1-5. It don't show up against the Carolina Panthers when the Panthers are 2-7. It don't show up against a team that's middle of the pack. It shows up when you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs. It shows up when you're playing in the playoffs. It shows up when you're playing the better teams. Because the other teams got that same type. They got just as much talent as you got. And they got those other intangibles in spades that you ain't got. And when it gets tight and you don't have those dogs, those tone setters on your team because they're not there because they can't trust and respect the organization. And they're not really all the way in. And then when it gets really big games, you find out what team is all the way in. You find out what teams got the mental mindset. They got the mental toughness to overcome. You find out what teams have got to oppose their will to run the ball. They can oppose their will to stop the run with guys just as good as they are. You find out who don't make penalties, 14 penalties in a game, in a playoff game. You find out who picks off the ball and don't drop it, or who don't throw the interception, or who can pick that fumble up. You find out who makes the tackle and don't be looking around. You find out that the team that got the intangibles always come up winning. And it ain't about talent. Let me give you a little thing about Michael Parsons. Let me give you this, and I'm going to leave you with this. Michael Parsons ain't signed a contract. Let's say Michael goes all the way to week 1 or to the last week of training camp and not even practice, because believe you me, he is getting not better by sitting on the sideline for 3 weeks. Let's say that this goes all the way where he doesn't get when they're going to shut down the contact in practice, because after this preseason game, they may have a couple more, but then when you get to the regular season, I don't think they can get past no more than 10 times the whole season. And some of you out there saying, man, Michael dog, he going to be good. But let me tell you something. Game 1, we're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles that some say got the best offensive line in football, but Lane Johnson is one of the best tackles for the longest in the NFL. So when we start looking at Lane Johnson and Michael Parsons, Lane Johnson just got just as many skins on the wall than Michael Parsons got. So when we look at talent, the talent is very close. It's not about athletic ability, but talent. Lane Johnson done worked all training camp on his skills. Michael has been sitting on the sideline waiting on the contract. When we get to game one, who you think gonna dominate that game? And know what we gonna say as fans? We're gonna blame Micah for not having the best game because we're gonna think that this is John Madden football. You don't have to practice, just go out there and your rating means what you're gonna do. We're asking Micah to play the run defense on Saquon Barkley, and he ain't got his calluses built to get better at the run game this whole training camp. You can't do that by film study, baby. Am I blaming Micah? No, I'm blaming the organization that's not doing what all organizations do. I understand you negotiating having a hard line on your second tier. I even understand you having a hard line when it comes to the third team, the rest of them that I say you can change. But your core, y'all can work something out and get it done. And that core right now is CeeDee Lamb, Michael Parsons, Tyler Smith, Dak Prescott. Osa's in there now. Somebody else might move in there. They may get in there, but you might get pushed into the second core. Everybody's not got to be top level. But you take care of your core. You challenge them on the field. You motivate them. After you pay them, you can talk all the trash about their play. That might motivate them. They can take that then. But you don't illustrate them to the team that they do everything they're supposed to do, and they still got. So what that means, everybody else gonna do? You think you laying down the gauntlet to make everybody else scared to negotiate? No, you're doing laying down the gauntlet for people not to want to be there. You laying down the gauntlet for people not to give you their best effort. You pimping backwards. Listen, man, I'm sorry for it just makes me, but I hope that the people that stayed in this chat take this and they spread this video. Tone setters. Why tone setters are important? Why trust and respect is what we need for these guys to spread whatever culture that Schottenheim is trying to push. So the players the players on this team from 1 through 53 can trust and respect the culture, and then we'll grow. But Jerry, you can't expect your coach to put in the culture if you're not taking care of your core players. And if you don't feel that your core players do it like Kansas City does, quick and make quick move and decision and move them on down the road. But don't play this game of trying to beat a storyline. Because Cowboys going to be a storyline anyway. What you trying to make storylines on top of storylines? That sounds senile to me. And maybe this might be a senile moment. But again, man, like, comment, subscribe, man. Thank you for everybody who was into the chat, man. Thank you for all the comments that people came in and said some things, man. Hopefully, y'all take some of this stuff, man. Coaching, one thing about me, man, coaching is a life for me, and I learned a lot of Michael Cousins about life through coaching and playing. And some of the things that you take from me that's in my videos, hopefully you can take those things. You can take them to every sport. You could take them to every sport, the same thing, but you could probably take them as structured parts of life, man. You could take them for structured parts of your life, man, to be able to have some type of stability for growth in you and to be able to understand and to get to your goals, man. But there's no way we're gonna get to this thing is work, man. And I need to see that we got some tone setters. And it's a hard job in Dallas, man. We got a Netflix special. With other teams trying to get Hard Knocks, we get the whole Netflix special. We got the Chili's get a Netflix special. Now we got a whole nother Netflix. Hollywood at its best. It's hard for Schottenheimer to do that, but it can be done. But Jerry, don't test his culture. Don't hurt Micah's season for not. He needs to work, Jerry. And this thing about, we trying to save him so he don't get hurt, you understand that doesn't make him a better player. Then you end up playing the guy and then he can't be his best. That's stupid there. It's not the point about you pay a guy. It's not the point if he's playing well and he's out there and he has something you cannot stop is an injury that comes up. That's a freak of nature. That's right. But to have him out there and then he's not playing his best because he's not prepared, and then you're not getting your best out of him because he ain't prepared, that's stupid. Like I said, man, like, comment, subscribe, man. And thank y'all so much, man. If you have it in your heart, Coach really needs to get some of this upgraded stuff. Some of my stuff that I have here is not the best equipment in the world. And I don't have, I'm working towards getting monetized, man. If y'all can get my videos out there and I can get to another 60 some people to get to 500 subscribers. And if y'all watch through my videos, if y'all go to my playlist and watch through my videos, that's gonna get my viewing hours up, and then I can get out. We're gonna have a party when I get monetized, man. And we're gonna make sure that we get to the point when I get monetized, we're gonna start celebrating the people who come in this chat and support this chat, man. We're gonna support them with some type of way that we can support them, man. I'm gonna definitely be a content creator that's gonna be to support our fans, man. But I want to thank you, man. If you have in your heart, you think, say, hey, you want to support the channel, my Cash App is down below at $PBS222. I would greatly appreciate it, man, if you could do that to do something, support the channel. When I was out there before I got a channel, and still yet today, I'll probably go and boss Cowboys. Somebody's on their channel right now. I'll probably go out there and put a comment out there just to say hey to the fans, man, and put a $2 chat in there, because I want to make sure to get everybody started, because I know how it is that these people need that to be able to support their channel. I see now how much effort it takes to financial things to get into to support their channel and get their stuff running. But again, I like to say thank you, man. Didn't want to be on this long, but hopefully you take these things and send out there. When you share this video, you share and you tell people that say, hey, you're going to learn something about football with this. But until next time, I want to tell you this, man. Culture, tone setters, trust, and respect is going to get us there. Tone setters, come on, let's get this team right, man, and push this narrative. Even though you're under some situation about the trust and respect of the organization, but it'll be right. Let's win right now. Put the ball in y'all favor. Do something that you can do that's great and build a legacy. Until next time, salute.